जय भीम, जय मूल निवासी। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। First of all, I am so grateful to Bansaf for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be with you today. In front of me, I see the real India, the India which I have so much to say, but in this short time, I will try my best to sum up whatever I can. So, we are here because of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Bhimrao Ambedkar, a giant of an intellectual, a genius, the best man, the most educated man the world has ever produced. By reading through his writings, you can feel, as Manisha ji told, the pain of society full of inequities, and how he wanted to make this country the most developed nation in the world, and his vision was far advanced than we can even make account of. But the sad thing is, his name has been associated only for a very limited kind of goals, whereas his original scholarship, original contribution is much greater than we can appreciate. So, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, where is his real contribution? There are many contradictory, point of views. Some people consider his ideology contradictory, or some drive different meanings in different contexts. But where is his real contribution? So the volume of his writing is so great that in order to reduce him to certain kind of one narrow ideology would be not justice towards his contribution. So what I find that he went to Columbia University, happened to meet the best men, best writers, best authors, and then the only beauty about his story is that Western education changes people, alienates from their own people, from their own culture, from their own heritage. But Western education, in case of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and he stands for us, if I would say his real contribution is in his writing, which are historical. We can understand him in historical, political, and religious. But his real contribution is historical. He is trying to correct the history of the India, and the strong evidence which he leaves, and for us to move his caravan ahead, that evidence is enough in order to change the destiny of this nation. So, and his political decisions are not his own decisions. That's pretty much clear to everybody. Because he was a man when he was fighting not with one system, there are multiple systems of oppression. The colonialism, the worst, the subtle system. Then colonialism aligned with the Brahmanism, and then aligned with all the corporate houses. So he was negotiating all those threats while doing his work. So he had to accept certain decisions which he literally didn't want to accept. So he had to, because he wanted to get something better than nothing. Ideology would be wrong. Dr. Ambedkar is very clear. Philosophy in his ideology, there is no doubt, and only he strove throughout his life in order to empower the depressed classes of India, minorities and depressed classes of India. And he had a very bright vision of present Pakistan without the Bangladesh. So we say Mool Nivasi. How we are Mool Nivasi? That's a long story, and you have heard from this stage time and again that 1,000 years, that civilization which we had. So how that civilization did disappear, and how that civilization's best literature and best everything was stolen. Authorship was changed. So if you see Vedas, they came from Europe? No. All Puranas? No. It was very much the best knowledge which we already had, and the worst thing they did, so they didn't much disabled with violence. So in their disability, they forgot to own what they owned. They did not lay claim to what was their own from all the writings. So, and that's why this disability Brahmanism wants to continue, so that you don't get associated with your real essence. So your real essence is your Mool, and Mool is the truth. And so long we are attached with the truth, then we are the most powerful people of the world. We have to now, this karma has come to this pass, but how it will go ahead? Unless we recognize, identify our Mool, identify our truth, identify truth of our history, truth of our heroes, truth of our well-wishers. So this karma which is prevailing. When Mahatma Buddha, when he said there is no God, so at that time you imagine, every falsehood was attached with the name of God. So everything was false. All practitioners were just playing hoax on people. They were cheating in the name of God. So it was so prevalent. So Mahatma Buddha had to say there is no God. There is no God means the God which they preach is to deceive others, is to cheat others, is to dehumanize others. So if there is a God, such God there is not. So then after that, Bhakti Lahar came. We have so many illustrious saints, Mool Nivasis, real heroes, real gurus. So they interpreted the real God, real truth, the real Mool. And the truth is same. The enlightenment to Mahatma Buddha and enlightenment of Bhakti movement is the same. So they empower the people that we are born with our inalienable rights. We are born equal. So when we are born equal, then we with our birth, we get all our rights. We born in this world with all our rights. So those rights are ours. It's a different thing that we don't assert those rights because of our disability. So, to claim what is ours is the only way to empower our society. Guru Ravidas ji, Bhagat Tanna ji, Bhagat Sadhana ji, Bhagat Pikhan ji, Bhagat Pipa ji. So there are 15 saints from all corners of India in today's Guru Granth Sahib. And can you believe that a sadhana who was a butcher, who earned his livelihood by butchering, providing meat to the society, be elevated to the status of a guru or a saint. So Bhagat Sadhana, while doing his job, he was doing only his livelihood earning, which is called the kirat. So his verses are in Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Ravidas ji, 40 shabads, and Guru Kabir ji, 224 shabad. And 15, there are 36, there are only 6 Sikh Gurus, 30 are others. So what it shows, how they brought the revolution first. In 1604, Harmandir Sahib, 1604 it was built. The Aad Granth, which is called, was first time installed there. And after that, the whole people of India who were denied to visit their mandirs because they thought they're going to pollute this mandir or the sarovar. So those people were free to come to Harmandir Sahib and they were challenged. And by 1628, Brahmins in alliance with Shah Jahan declared 4 wars on the 6th Guru, 1628, 1630 to 34. In those 4 wars, Shivaji's Guru Swami Ramdas happened to be there with 6th Guru, and he was quite surprised. देख के बहुत हैरान हुए कि saints are fighting, they have taken sword in their hands. So he asked the question that you cannot be the Guru of Guru Nanak house, you are fighting with the sword. Then he told Swami Ramdas why this fight was, for what it was. And Swami Ramdas then trained Shivaji, and Shivaji became the first Shudra king. And it's a different matter that the Brahmanism again disabled him, and Peshwas and others. Then second Shudra king came. All the missiles, they came much later in 1765, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh, another Shudra, plus put a claim. Then maybe a year back, that quintals of gold has been found from mandirs, and it became only a small news. But I talked with Moramji. I told him, why don't our society, our Mool Nivasi Sangh or Mool Nivasi people, why don't they lay claim to it? It's their gold. They have served this nation for free for thousands of years. Served these all people, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, for free. And it's their money, It's their gold. And all that gold clubbed with the money which is in Swiss banks. I won't take much time, but I think there's a time limit. But I would like to share this with you, that and this only shows that we are not capable of thinking. So we should not let them think. A little bit of what we are doing in America, not in detail but very shortly. Our hero is recognized by Columbia University. But after one delivered a special lecture on the chair, his topic was reconciling Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Gandhi. Then I was alarmed. How can whole life Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had been debating, fighting, had been suffering because of Gandhi? How can he could be reconciled? It's not possible to reconcile him, as much as I had read from his writing. So then we further tried to explore that. And then we came to know the chair is in the name of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, but its management is given to a fellowship, that's a Professor Bhagwati Fellowship. So Bhagwati Fellowship manages the chair. So what was going on, that at the cost of B.R. Ambedkar, they are promoting Gandhism. So that's the greatest academic dishonesty, deception, which was taking place. I talked with my colleagues, Bhimrao Ambedkar Sikh Foundation, and they realized the importance of this fact, that we must confront them intellectually. So we finally planned centennial event, 100-year event, on the very day, 29th June, when the first day Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, 29 June 1913, when first day Dr. B.R. Ambedkar entered Columbia University. So on the same day, in 2013, we held our 100th anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in Columbia University. And we got an overwhelming response. So BAMSEF was represented by Dr. Manisha Bangar and Dr. Satya Paul and Mr. Monram Paul. So we put up an event, and 28th, the copy of those. So our topics were anti-Mool Navasi attempts to reconcile Ambedkar and Gandhi. That was one of the topic. These are anti-Mool Navasi attempts. So the topic was received so well. And then all about Hindu Code Bill and these Brahminical games. So there were many topics, people from Canada, from all over America, and many came, and the result was good. So much so that they started threatening, even Mr. Monram Paul got threats that why you did that. And they had to hold a parallel conference after 2 weeks in the Columbia University. So my point is that we are in a very united shape today. Gandhi was no more in. That silence is very dangerous. And during this silence, they wrote 100 volumes of Gandhi's writing. They built thousands of Gandhi statues which were sent all over the world. They spent millions of rupees, government money, in order to make Gandhi's film by Attenborough. So our money was spent on building a myth of Gandhi's greatness. And this went on and on and on, and today the only chapters which are there in our school curriculum, university curriculum, they start with Gandhi. And there is hardly any reference, if there is, a very sketchy reference about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So who made him the father of the nation? You all know, nobody made him father of the nation. So he's a self-styled father of the nation. So we didn't challenge him. So if we are just a token protest, then this we would not have faced such a big monolithic problem which we are facing today. So the second thing, our curriculum, there is a real history, and people should represent what their children should read in their books. It should not be imposed from the above. There are heroes everywhere, and those heroes should be represented in the school curriculum and in the university curriculum. So I will sum up with some of my words. So I am really very glad to meet Mr. Dr. Arya and Advocate Churasiya ji, very honorable, Justice Chandru, and all members, executive of the BAMSAF, and all Mool Niwasis. I am greatly honored to be here today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.